Hi, in this screencast, I'm going to talk to you about the LMS that I use at school, and that is Schoology. The reason I use Schoology is because that is the LMS that is being supported by our technology department, and so if I have any problems, I have help built in uh, at the school, so that's why I decided to use this LMS. Excuse me. What I'm going to show you is my career tech chemistry class, and this is the class that I use a flex model with. So students gained access to Schoology by using this access code, and there is also a parent access code that some parents have used. It allows parents to take a look at their students' assignments, their grades on assignments, and so forth, and it zeroes in on just their students so they can't see what any other student has done. Because I use a flex model, I try to help students keep on track with a progress indicator that I always keep on the main page. The progress indicator simply gives students a scale to look at to see how they are toward earning points towards the total number of points necessary for the chapter. So you can see here that I have some students who are well on their way to 100 points in this chapter and some students who have a lot of work to do yet. But it does give students that visual reminder of how they're doing in class. So let's go back to the career tech chemistry class. I have folders initially organized based on unit, classroom resources, information such as the syllabus, an online periodic table, their online textbook, and so forth is kept here. So students can access that at any time. I also have all their other units listed, the introductory unit all the way up to our current unit on nomenclature. The reason I keep all of the past units open is because with the flex model, I may have some students working in Unit 4 while other students have moved on to Unit 5. And so I try to keep all of our past units open so students can go back, review material, and finish up whatever unit they're in before they move on. Let's take a look at my most recent unit, which is on nomenclature. And here you can see that in each chapter I have students complete a pretest, so I have an idea of where they're starting with the content. And then to help support my flex model, I give students a menu of work, which I require them to copy when they select the link. So you'll see here they have to make their own copy. And then students can see which assignments they are able to work on as they work through this unit. Assignments are given a certain point value, and students can select whichever assignments they want. But in this particular case, students are required to earn 100 points for this unit. So whatever combination of assignments they decide to do, it has to end up totaling 100 points. So this gives students a lot of flexibility in terms of, do I like doing worksheets, or do I like doing labs, or do I like working on textbook problems? And it lets them kind of shape the learning to what best suits their needs. So once students have decided which options they want to do, they need to come back to this page, and you'll see that I have everything else separated based on content. So notes, worksheets, labs, textbooks assignments, and then every chapter has certain required assignments that students have to do. So on a daily basis, students come in and I suggest this is the set of notes that you need to watch today. So all of their notes are kept in one place. Students can open the notes and then they watch the screencast that I've provided for them. They take notes on the screencast, and then they also have to do practice problems within the screencast. Once students have completed that, I suggest they go back to the main unit page and they can select which worksheets they want to do. So for worksheets, they're all provided in one folder, one spot, so students have easy access. Again, with the worksheets, students click on the link and they're required to make a copy of their worksheet. And then once they make a copy, they just go through and they can either complete the worksheet on paper by hand, or they can complete it on the computer. When students have completed their work, they can submit it. And I really like about Schoology is that over here I can see which students have submitted assignments and what grades they have earned on those assignments. So if I select a student, I go in and their work will populate here. Sometimes it takes a few seconds, sometimes it pops up pretty quickly. In this case, this particular student did their work by hand, and you can see that it's really large to look at, so I just go up and I change my zoom setting, and I can zoom out and I can look at their work. One of the aspects about Schoology that I really like is that I can make corrections directly on the worksheet. I can use my drawing tool to circle student work, and I can add comments by dropping in a post-it note and just making a comment like there should be no space between the word cobalt and your Roman numerals. So I can leave that note for a student, I save it, and then they can see that information when they go in to look at their work. And then I can also go from one student's work to another just by selecting the tab at the bottom. And so here's an example of a student who did their work on the computer instead of doing it by hand, and I still have all of the information that I need to give them a grade. And I think that's a really great aspect of Schoology. In addition to having the worksheets, I also have a section for labs and textbook assignments. So labs, sometimes there's more labs, and in this particular case there was just one game for students to do, but students can go and read the directions for how to do a lab and complete a lab if they want to instead of a worksheet. And I also include textbook assignments, so students have reading that they can do and then they write about what they read. So all of these are optional assignments. Students are not required to do any of them as long as they earn their 100 points. In addition, there's also a required assignment for every single chapter, and in this case, students will be working in groups to complete a project. I do like the way that this is organized. In this particular class, because of the flex model, I like having everything grouped by content just because I think it facilitates students' options and selecting which options they want to do. I also think it helps students stay very organized to know that these are the different activities I can do and this is where I can find them. They haven't had any problems saying, you know, Mrs. Benke, what lab can I do? Or Mrs. Benke, what worksheet should I be doing next? Because they're all located in one common place. So I hope that this helps you understand Schoology. I'm certainly open to any questions. I do have other classes that I teach. They're all maintained up here under the courses. Those classes are set up a little differently because I don't use a flex model, but I did want to show you this because I don't think everybody uses a flex model, and I found that it works very well with this particular group of students. And it's a different way of teaching, and it's a little more hectic, to be completely honest with you. I find I'm scrambling because students are at different places, but I've also found that this is really benefiting my students, and I think that they enjoy it, and that the freedom that it gives them is making the learning more meaningful. So feel free to ask me any questions or make any comments. Thank you, and I hope you learned something new about Schoology.